everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, back with another card for our Father's Day series. This card is actually done using an image from the Silhouette store. And at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I laid this all out on the Silhouette Studio, so you can check that out if you want to see how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. I have everything cut out. I'm using paper from two different Echo Parks collections. I have the Border Stripes, which is from a This and That, and then I also have this one from Yardsticks. And then I used another one from the same collection called, what was it called? Instamatic, and I'll show you that in a little while. And then I also used some pattern paper from this Note to Self paper pad. So these are all older paper collections, so if they're still available, I'll link to them over on my blog if you want to, check them out. So let's go ahead and get started. This card comes in a couple different layers, so we're going to go ahead and start off by, there's a matte layer, then this circle layer, and then there's the card that also has circles, but the circles are a little bit bigger than the circle layer so that they kind of peek through. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together and add some adhesive to this. We're going to use our ATG gun today. Only reason why I'm using my ATG gun today is because my little tape runner that I like to use in my videos is packed away to take with me. We're heading out for a day or two, and I wanted to pack some little crafty supplies to work on some Project Life stuff, so I put my little tape runner in my my travel bag. So this piece right here is going to get adhered right to the top of my little zigzag piece. And this is one thing about ATG. If you don't get it on there right the first time, it's kind of hard to peel it off, and I'm a little bit crooked. Okay, so that went on totally crooked, and I couldn't get it off. The ATG was just really strong, so I'm just going to work with it. As long as those holes are covered, we're good. So we're just going to kind of trim off that piece of the background that's hanging off, and that will then get adhered to the front of our card. So I'm going to take this card piece and I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. So we'll add our ATG to the back of this. Right, so then this will get adhered right to, so I put the adhesive on the inside of the card, and this will get adhered right to this pattern paper. And I think what I'm going to do, and hopefully I won't mess this up too much, is I'll line it up in the front here first. There we go. That was perfect. So we have our fold score lines that comes with the cut. So, and now what I did was I have also the little stars that come with that little set for the card, and those are going to get adhered in a little pattern. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do all blue or if I wanted to use the striped pattern as well. So I have all of these. Before I go ahead and start adhering down all these stars, well, actually I'll go ahead and adhere the stars. So I'm going to set this out in the pattern first that I want it to be in. So we're going to alternate between the blue stars and the stripe. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out my stars on some pattern paper, and I laid it out here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use some quick dry adhesive, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere those little stars down. I'm going to use my quick stick, the Pick Me Up stick from Silhouette, and this bottom piece does come off, and it works as just like a little tool to hold your piece down while you're gluing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me open this up so that it doesn't keep bouncing around there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my little stick part that has the little sticky end, pick up my piece, and then either I can add the adhesive to this or right to my card, which I'm going to add to my card, and then I could take my star and just set it down on the adhesive and use my stick here to get it into place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the rest of my card. Okay, so I have my stars adhered down. I'm going to take some thickers, and you can cut out the dad letters with this, but I wanted to do something a little different with that, and I'm going to use these wood grain stickers. They're called Sotheby's, and we're going to use these for our dad sentiment. So I'm just going to do the dad, and they're a little bit bigger than the holes, but I'm okay with that. With the thicker, it kind of makes it pop up a little bit more. And I do think I am going to adhere some extra adhesive in the back of those so that they stick down better, and this way they won't fall off. So that is my card. It measures 5 by 7, but because it is a 5 by 7 and I don't have 5 by 7 envelopes, I went ahead and cut out a 5 by 7 envelope on my Cameo. So I cut that out also using that paper. This is that Instamatic paper that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And this has all the score lines that you need. And I am just going to go ahead and fold these up and then adhere it down. And then I'll have an instant envelope for my Father's Day card. So there we go. That's my card and envelope. Just be careful when you are cutting out your envelope that you do it going in the right direction. I did mine upside down, so my letters or my numbers here are actually upside down. But I think what I'm going to do is once I get the card signed and filled out for, I don't know, I think I'm giving this to Scott's dad, I'm going to probably put a little strip here or something like that to cover up that you notice that it's upside down, because otherwise it's fine. So that's my card. I'm going to head over to the computer now and show you how I did this on my Silhouette Cameo. Open my Silhouette Studio program. I'm going to go ahead and get my image that I'm going to be using, and the one I'm using is called Dads and Grads. So I just went up to the search box here in my library here and did the word dad, and I have the image right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my mat. Now you can see it's pretty big. It's got both the dad and the grad card that came up. So what I'm going to do is right click and ungroup my image. I'm going to highlight the one that's down here at the bottom. That's the grad card. I'm going to highlight that and just select all of that and delete it because we're not going to be using that. We're going to scroll back up here to the top. This image right here, the one with the holes and the solid piece, I'm actually going to put on a separate mat. So I'm going to grab these two and I'm going to group them together. So you can either right click and hit group, or you can do Control or Command G, and that's going to group them together. And then I'm going to copy paste. So I'm going to right click and hit copy. I'm going to add a new mat. And then down here I'm going to right click again and hit paste, and it'll bring those two images over for me. I'm going to ungroup them, and then I can separate them on my mat. So the top one I did in my pattern paper, and the bottom one I did in the zigzag paper. So this is the print one, and then this one down here was the zigzag. So I'm going to head back over to this mat. I don't need those two images anymore. I'm just going to hit delete. And then over on the side here are our stars, and it comes with the word dad. Also comes with these circles, but I only really cut out all of the stars. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this. I'm going to do Control or Command G to group them. Add another new mat. Whoops, I forgot to do Control Z. Go back over to here. Control C to copy. Control V to paste, and it's going to paste in the same location it was on the other screen, but we're just going to go ahead and drag it. I'm going to do a Command U for ungroup, and I am getting rid of the dad and all of the little circles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. What I'm doing is just grouping them all together and hitting the delete key to get rid of them. Oop, we want to keep those stars. Alright, I'll group these all back together again. So highlight them all and do Control G to group. And then I'm going to do this on two different pattern papers. I didn't want to have to figure out which one, so I just cut them all, and you can even move these stars around so you're not using as much paper, but just for this I'm showing you, that I wanted to do 2 different pattern papers, and I just copied the whole things and pasted them. I had extra stars left. So the last thing I need to do is do a file and a new mat, and for this one I am going to go into my library and recent downloads. I downloaded a 5x7 envelope, and that fits right onto the mat. So for my first image here, I want to make sure my circles aren't separated. This right here is the actual card base. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out in a solid cardstock. I used paper tray ink. So for cutting on paper tray ink cardstock, I selected cardstock plain under the cut settings, and I moved my speed up a little bit because it's not a very detailed, it's just straight lines and some circles. The thickness is at 33, the blade depth is at 3, and I did this because I'm using paper tray ink as a double cut. So I went ahead and cut my circled my 2 mats here. What I did was my solid mat, I just moved that off for right now. And as long as whatever you're cutting is on here, you can have stuff on the side, which is nice. So this pattern paper here was that kind of newsprint pattern paper. And I set this under my cut settings as pattern paper. My speed, I went up a little bit, probably to about 7. Thickness was set at 30, and my blade depth was 3, and I turned off the double cut. So I went ahead and cut this part out. So once this mat here was done cutting, I just grabbed it and moved it over to the side, and then brought in my solid mat and cut it at the same settings as I did for this one with the holes in it. My next page, I also did the same settings. I used the pattern paper, speed 6, thickness 30, and blade depth was 3 on a single cut. And I set 2 pieces of pattern paper. They were from a 6x6 pad, so I just put one next to each other and cut out this image. And then I did the same thing for my card envelope. I used the same settings for that. So that is all for the silhouette, little silhouette tutorial to go along with the card. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.